Welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. I hope you're having an incredible holiday season. Today's gift to you is brought to you by me, Jason Katzenbach. I'm going to be sharing with you a strategy on how I can figure out what tasks on my list need to be delegated to others, saving you countless hours and being able to free you up to be able to grow and scale your business. So the strategy that I want to teach you in this little training session is something that has made a tremendous impact on me, and what it's done is it's allowed me to ensure that I'm focusing only on things each and every day that I should be to get my business to the level that I want it to be at. It also helps me create detailed job descriptions of really the people I should be hiring next. There's always those ideas of I should hire someone to do this, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is the person you actually should be hiring, because you don't really necessarily know the roles you need to hire if you're not actually looking at the things that you're doing each day. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be able to put time wasters to the side. You're going to be able to identify things that you need to be focusing on so you can hold yourself accountable. Because one of the hardest things of being an entrepreneur and trying to start your business is holding your own self accountable each and every day, ensuring you're doing the right things the right way so that you can get those results as efficiently as possible. So what you're going to be doing is using this right here. So hopefully you can see that nice and clearly. And as you can see, what it has is it has $10 an hour, $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, and $10,000 an hour. And I assure you I will explain what this all means to you before this video is over. In each section you can see things like data entry, image editing, basically anything you could hire someone on Fiverr for $5 an hour kind of thing. I'll pay you $5 to do that. The next level you have the $100 an hour thing. Now remember, don't get all analytical and say, well, that's a $34 an hour task. The idea here is it's just a general category. Generally, we're saying $10 an hour stuff, $100 an hour stuff, $1,000 an hour stuff, that kind of thing. And $100 an hour, that's like graphics, content creation, customer service. Then you got $1,000 an hour, and that's where you start getting into programming, web design, marketing, accounting, all of those kind of things. Then $10,000 an hour, that's really where you get into like development of other people in the company, where you're looking at acquisitions, perhaps buying other companies, or maybe selling your own company, or expanding, going across into the European platforms, or maybe going into Walmart. So the idea with this is when you're starting out in business, of course you're going to be in the $10 an hour section, and it really depends on the amount of money, time, and resources that you have. But the idea here is your goal is to go from here all the way to here, so that each day you're only focused on things that are in the $10,000 an hour area. And this is something that you have to do for yourself. You can't outsource this. You can't hire someone to do it. This is something that you have to do. And it's something that I recommend you have to dedicate to a 2-week period to minimum. Now, a strategic coach that I had a few years ago taught me this, Mr. Todd Herman. And one of the things that I got from this was I was able to feel good at the end of each day because I knew I was focusing on the right things. And I'm sure you can relate to that, where you feel like, oh my goodness, I've worked all day today. I know I've been busy, but I can't tell you what I accomplished. Those are the results of working on things you really shouldn't be working on. And the cool thing is, I promise you this strategy is much easier than you think, and the results are so worthwhile. So what you're going to be doing here is, this is a strategy to ensure you're focusing on the tasks that are the best chance of success with the resources that you have. So some people have a lot more time than money, some people have a lot more money than time, and some people have a good balance of both. Really, depending on where you are and where your goal is going to depend on how you use this system. But let's say, for example, your goal is that you want to create for yourself a $1 million per year business. Well then, if you break that down, and again, we don't need to get too analytical on this. This is all generalities, but they're good guidelines to follow. So on average, if you're running a $1 million a year business, that means you're generating about $3,684 in revenue per day. Now that's based on a 52-week year with 5 days a week working. If you work 7 days a week, you can try to manipulate this all you want. I recommend just following the outlines I have here. So for $3,684 a day, if you break that down by 8 hours, math here, I guess I should have done that. I guess that's about $600 an hour of tasks that you should be focused on. If my math is off there, forgive me. I'm sure you have a calculator to figure it out. But you're focusing on tasks that you want to be doing, those $100 an hour tasks minimum throughout the day, because every time you focus on a task that's a $10 an hour, you're reducing your chance of success. So look at it this way. If all day you're spending tasks doing $10 an hour tasks, and those are things, like I said to you, like data entry, like let's say you're editing an image, or you're doing things that someone else could do way quicker, and you could pay someone really minimal. Again, you could just go to Fiverr.com to do. Well, then what you're going to do is at the end of that, if you're just doing $10 an hour tasks, you're going to be making a business that has an effort into it of about $80 a day, or about $20,000 per year. I mean, that's boo, in my opinion. If your goal is $1 million and you're only getting results that are $20,000 a year, you've got to start figuring out the right things to focus on. So now let's break down the how. So for the next 14 days, you want to keep a rough journal of what you're actually spending your time on. You can buy a little notebook, you could keep just a pad like this, but I recommend having a journal that's something that you can carry around with you. Each day, you're going to be, as you're working, every few hours, you can set an alarm on your phone if you could. And I highly recommend that, because you want to make sure you're doing this. And have it every couple of hours just ping you to remind, okay, just jot down what it is you've worked on for the last few hours. Then that way you look back and say it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and this has gone off. You can say, okay, for the last 3 hours I worked on, I had to talk with the manufacturer to be able to get my product changed. And but then I went on to Facebook, and actually I kind of got sidetracked on that for a conversation. I spent about 45 minutes on Facebook now. Looking back at it now, what a waste of time. And so you're jotting those things down real quick, and you need to be honest, be totally honest with yourself. And then what you do is at the end of each day, you take a highlighter. Now, I'll usually choose 3 highlighters. I'll use yellow, blue, and red. You can use whatever colors you want, though. And the idea is each color kind of identifies a focus. Red obviously being like emergency, you need to focus on this big time. Yellow meaning caution, and blue being something that you're not sure of, you should look back at later. And then what you do is each day with your red highlighters, you look at it and you figure out what are all the time wasters that you should not have been doing. These are the $10 an hour tasks. These are the things like spending 45 minutes talking to someone on Facebook, like getting sidetracked on Pinterest, or all of a sudden, playing with your phone for half an hour because of a new game. Those kind of things, because those are the red things that it's like you need to just stop. There's no questioning, there's no outsourcing. There's like, if you've only got this amount of time per day to work, then you should not be doing those things. If you want to keep doing them, that's fine, but then realize that you're wasting time. Then you've got the yellow. Now the yellow is the first area you want to start focusing on. And again, it depends where you are in this process. Because if you're at a point in your business where you have no extra money, you are nickel and diming this as much as possible because you want to get this business going and you have very little capital and your time is pretty limited too, then you have to be in this area. You don't really have an issue. Like you just can't afford it. You can't do anything else. So that's fine. But you got to be identifying then, it's like, okay, then this is where I am in my business. This is the reality of it. I'm not going to compare myself to anyone else. I know that my first goal with this business is to get enough results to get me moving up this chain. So your goal here is to look, okay, if I'm focusing on this right now, then I can't do anything about that. But I need to start identifying how I can create a job out of this so that once I have the money and resources to be able to hire someone to do these jobs and I can focus on these ones, I'll have a detailed plan created of exactly what tasks this person will have to do. You're going to be looking at these time wasters, and you're also going to be, again, and I call these result blockers, because what they're doing is they're not just time wasters, they're result blockers. They're blocking you from getting the results you should be because you're focusing on the wrong things. So you want to look for these and say, how can I clump these together? So for example, you might find, geez, I'm spending this time on data entry. I'm spending this much time, you know, I edited these videos. I mean, whatever it is you're doing, all of a sudden you realize, hey, this is a role I have right here. So all of a sudden you can look at this and say, can I hire someone out for $20 a day? That's 2 hours a day, 10 bucks an hour to get this work done. Because you don't need you don't need an 8 hour a day person. You can start where, geez, I have these routine tasks each day that I'm spending a couple hours on. Man, I have a role I've created now, so I know what to expect. I know what this person should be doing because these are the things I'm doing. And now I have something that I can hire someone and put them to work on right away. Because one of the other things that often happens is you try hiring someone because you're feeling overwhelmed and you're like, what do I hire? I just need to hire someone that starts helping me. And then you have no time to figure out what to put them on. So they're sitting there just wasting more money of your company. You're getting stressed because you're not sure what to train them on, and it's just a horrible mess. But by doing this first, what you're doing is you're putting the horse before the cart, is you're figuring out what's needed before you try to fill in the gap of what you think is needed. Now, another thing, I just want to remind you, don't expect yourself to be doing the $10,000 an hour task when you're starting out. Your focus is, this is where I am in my business, these are the resources I have, and this is what I can do. And resources, I mean time. For example, if you're someone that only has 2 hours a day versus someone that has 12 hours a day, well, you better make sure in those 2 hours you're doing as much as possible to get yourself out of the $10 an hour task. Because only 2 hours a day at $10 an hour, that's even worse. So you are going to be even more limited, or you're just going to have to accept that, wow, this is going to take me longer. But always remember, throughout this whole process, it's about you and your path. It's not about comparing yourself to others. You and your path. If you want to be a millionaire and get to that goal, it doesn't matter how you compare yourself to others. What matters is being real with yourself, figuring out where you are, and then looking and creating a plan to realistically achieve it. If you're starting from zero, realistically, in a year, you might not be able to be at $1 million a year versus someone that's already at, say, the $100,000 a year mark in their life. So just keep that in check with yourself. And I hope this strategy really works for you. I promise you it's extremely effective, and talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed my strategy, and please make sure you don't miss out on our special $1 trial to the Amazing.com membership, where along with 3 powerful bonuses, you will also get access to hundreds of proven Amazon seller training courses. So make sure to take advantage of this incredible offer before the December 24th cutoff date. There's no long-term commitment, so you can cancel it anytime you want. Have a wonderful holiday season, and stay tuned for tomorrow's gift from Brandon Slater, who will share with you a powerful tip on scaling your business internationally.